Working on a Stihl fs56rc weed eater. How to grease the head or gearbox. We're back with the fs56rc, and today I'm going to show you how to grease the head on these. Some of them have a port where you can screw the grease tube into the side and grease it, but on this one you can't, so I'm going to show you how to today. You're going to see right here on the side, you're going to have a little hole. Stick that down in there, turn it, and just gonna a little turn there. See, this is what came off of it. Right here should have grease, and this one here doesn't. And we got all this thread and stuff all around it. We're gonna get all that cleaned out of there, and then I'm gonna show you how to grease that. Take this metal piece. This is what goes up underneath there. Before we get started on that, clean that. We wanna see how it's got all that stuff down in there. Get all that out. You want this thing moving freely. See that there? Really makes a difference. You get that stuff out of there. Alright, see how it's moving freely now? Alright, as you can see, we got that pretty darn clean. And all I did was use like a scrub brush and some cleaner. It comes off pretty easy. And then here's the other piece. We took all of the string. It's going freely now. See this little groove here? I'll show you something about that, because that's probably a part that a lot of people miss, but I'll show you that here in just a second. So now that we got this clean, you can see there's a little torque bit there. Just want to unscrew that off of there. Yeah, this process is a whole lot easier if you clean all that stuff off. Slide that head off of there. You can take a look at it here. Look at the bottom there. You can see some grease in there. There's a lock ring in there. You can see it right there. But there's a lock ring in there. But you want to put some grease there. Let's take a look down in there. Don't look too bad. This is going to be the grease we're using for this. It's Perv FS. You can find it in the store. Anybody that sells Stihl product should have it. And as you can see on the side on the picture there, there's a little access where you can screw the tube on. Most of you might have that, but this model here that we're working on don't. That's why we're showing this to you today. Alright, first thing we'll do here is get our grease we're using. Then you're going to want to put some all around that little edge right there. Just get you a little bit in there. You don't need a whole lot. That right there be enough. Move some around in there, make sure that's all greased up and that part's done. You want to take the head, tip it upside down, and right there you can actually wipe some of that grease out of there. You can see that ring that holds this all together. We're not going that far today, so, but a little bit around there. What I like to do is move this back and forth a little bit. And you're getting a little bit down in there, but not much. But there we go. Got that greased up. Now on this other part here, it's going to be a little tricky. We're just going to squirt some grease down in there. But a little trick that you can do is take the end off of a caulk, tube of caulk, and screw it onto the end of that and stick it down in there. But we're just going to do it like this today. We'll get around that casing and down in that casing. I don't know if you can see that there, but once this weed eater starts turning, all that grease is going to start moving. But it had some pretty decent grease in it anyway, but so everything's greased up. Now what you want to do is, before you stick this on there, you want to look at this rod. It's kind of square shaped, but you want to make sure that's straight up and down. Kind of gives you a reference on there. And then another thing is down in here, you can turn that. You kind of want, can't really tell there. I have to clean that out just a little bit. See how that's square? Kind of want to line that up to where it's straight up and down there. That way when you go to put this on, should line right up with that hole there. Go back to your line. You can test it by turning the bottom. You can hear that rod moving. So that means everything's connected. That pushed on there, we want to make sure we're straight. And just tighten that back up there. And when you stick that back in there, it's going to meet up with the grease that's on the bottom there. Kind of give it a couple turns when you do that. There you go. I hope this video out there helps somebody today. Share, like, and subscribe for more.